Hello and welcome back to another video or audio if you're listening in an audio format. My name is Justina. Welcome to my channel. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back and thank you for joining me today. So here today I'm going to talk about Venus retrograde transit, which starts on the 2nd of March. And here Venus will be retrograde until the 13th of April. This retrograde starts in Aries, and on the 27th of March, Venus will retrograde into Pisces. When Venus is retrograde, we are going to reevaluate, reassess what truly matters to us in the area of love, relationships, finances, and values. Now, here, Aries is a fire sign connected to bold and action oriented, independent energy, making this retrograde a fantastic time to also think about how we assert ourselves, how we assert our needs and desires within our relationships, what we truly desire, and where we may have to reclaim our confidence. So the themes connected to Venus retrograde are, of course, the themes related to love and relationships. So we may find ourselves reviewing, reassessing our relationships, our spending habits, anything that affects our ability to feel confident, anything to do with self-worth. So any imbalance in these areas will become very visible and very apparent. Now, since Aries is a fire action-oriented sign with Venus retrograde in Aries, this is a time to pause and reflect rather than rush. And this is to ensure that we are making choices in our lives that align from a place of alignment. Very often with Venus retrograde, people from the past, especially in the romantic sense, return back into our life. So this isn't a good time for starting new relationships, for getting married, for getting engaged, because Venus can cloud our judgment. With Venus retrograde, we might not see things through their real color. So it's better to delay these sort of dynamics, events, situations after Venus stations direct. Any relationships that start during Venus retrograde, it's better to take it easy and take a more of a step-by-step approach before fully committing. Because whatever that we start during Venus retrograde, we give birth to something brand new. And here that thing, or whatever it is, will have that Venus retrograde in its essence. So for this reason, Venus retrograde is great for reviewing, reassessing, reevaluating anything to do with money, finances, love, relationships, connections, contracts, with our values. But here, anything brand new, it's better to delay it if possible after Venus stations direct on the 13th of April. All right, so this is just a really short video. Let's have a look how this retrograde will influence each zodiac sign. So here I follow Western astrology tropical zodiac. Thank you very much. Let's begin. All right, so hello Aries and welcome. This Venus retrograde is really significant for you, of course, because it's happening in your sign, in your first house. So it's a very personal retrograde in many ways, during which time you will be reevaluating your image, your physical appearance, self-image overall, your desires, your needs, the way you approach relationships as well. At the same time, old relationship patterns may resurface, but these sort of situations will urge you to confront any issues connected to independence versus codependence or versus partnership. So here, think about whether you are putting yourself first in a healthy way, or perhaps are you being too impulsive, too dynamic. So overall, this is a time to reevaluate, reassess how you show up in love, how you value yourself. Here, Venus is also connected here in your chart to your area of finances. So you might be reevaluating your financial habits, your spending habits overall. And Venus also rules your relationships as well. So it could be about also reconnecting with someone from the past in a romantic or in a friendly way. All right, so thank you very much, Aries. Let's have a look at Taurus. Taurus, welcome. We've got Venus retrograde happening here in Aries in your 12th house, but also Venus is your chart ruler, of course. So this is a very deep and personal retrograde energy. But this energy here is connected to healing. healing of the self, of any deeply rooted patterns, anything to do with limiting beliefs, anything that affects your self worth. So, here with the 12th house activation, you are able to dive deep into your inner world, into your inner self. It's a great time for shifting away from the negative. Now, at the same time, past relationships or perhaps some hidden feelings, hidden emotions may come to the surface at this time. And perhaps say you might need time alone to process these feelings, emotions. It's a powerful period for self reflection, an amazing opportunity for releasing old emotional baggage. But at the same time, here, this energy can help you to understand what your heart truly needs and desires. Now, having said that, with Venus ruling over your sixth house, this is a great opportunity also for moving away from any unhealthy habits. It's about self improvement overall. Thank you very much. And now let's have a look at Gemini's. Gemini's, welcome. Here we've got this retrograde activating your 11th house. So here, the area of friendship, social circle, group activities as well. So this is all coming under a great review. Think about whether your connections, relationships in your life, friendships align with your values, align with your goals, with your inner self. This could be about reconnecting with a friend you haven't seen or contacted for quite some time. Or perhaps this could be about also reconnecting with someone in a romantic sense as well. But at the same time, here, this retrograde will prompt you to think carefully what kind of connections truly support you and support your growth, have a positive impact upon your self worth. So, this is an amazing opportunity also for reevaluating your financial and creative collaborations as well, since Venus rules over your fifth house, also out of creativity and romance as well. All right, so thank you very much, Geminis. And now let's have a look at the next sign. Cancers, welcome. Cancers, we've got Venus retrograde happening in your 10th house of career, life direction, public life. This retrograde wants you to reflect, reassess, reevaluate your personal connections in your life, relationships. Think about also how you are valued at your work, in your public life, for the work that you do in your professional life, for example. Are you getting the recognition that you deserve? Are you getting the financial rewards that you deserve? Now, here you might be reconnecting with people from the past during this time, with a former supervisor, manager, boss, client, perhaps someone from your network, a business network, for example, and they might reappear in your life as well. Offering you an opportunity to perhaps reconnect in some way. Perhaps you might be renegotiating a deal, a contract at this time. But here you need to be mindful of your reputation. Here with Venus being retrograde in this area of your life, ensure that your the choices that you make during this time, during the month of March, the first 2 weeks of April, because remember we also have a solar eclipse at the end of March in this house. Make sure that whatever that you decide, the decisions that you make during this time, the choices that you make align with what you truly want, with your heart. Now, Venus rules also your 11th house. So you might be reconnecting with friends. You might be reevaluating certain connections in your life during this time as well. See whether they contribute to your life in a positive way, or perhaps whether something needs to change. All right, so thank you very much, Cancers. And now let's have a look at Leos. Leo's welcome. We've got Venus retrograde happening in your ninth house of belief system, of your belief system, life principles, anything to do with travel, adventure, higher learning. So during this time, for some, this could manifest as returning to some studies. This could be about engaging in activities that will help you to grow in some way. You might be reevaluating your life principles, your life philosophy, and perhaps this could be connected to a long distance relationship as well. And if you are in one, then you will be reevaluating it. Or perhaps you might be reconnecting with someone who lives far away. This could be also the case. So, here, generally, you need to ask yourself whether your current goals, objectives truly align with your values, with your beliefs. It's a great time to reassess what excites you in your life, what fuels your passion, what makes you feel alive, and what kind of expansion you truly, truly need, crave, desire, because you might be also re-evaluating your life direction, your purpose in your life. It's an amazing time for doing so, but it's also a great time for visiting or revisiting places from the past, places of beauty, places where you felt at peace. Thank you very much, Leos. And now we will look at the next sign, and that's Virgos. Virgos, welcome. We've got this retrograde, Venus retrograde taking place in your eighth house of transformation, regeneration, intimate life, transformation, I already mentioned. So, shared resources, finances. So, this is a time to reevaluate your investments, financial agreements, anything to do with debts, loans, financial entanglements as well. But also when it comes to relationships, partnerships, perhaps you might have some really strong realizations about some important connections, partnerships in your life. Now, here with Venus being retrograde in this area of life, you might be also thinking carefully about boundaries and your emotional connections. If you feel like you don't set healthy boundaries with others, then perhaps Venus retrograde will make it more apparent, more visible, and it will make you think carefully and deeper about this aspect of your life. And at the same time, this is a time generally to avoid making any major financial commitments until after Venus goes direct, and that will be on the 13th of April. If you have to, you have to, but really, really think it through. Thank you very much, Virgos. And now let's have a look at the next sign. Libras, welcome. We've got this retrograde taking place. Venus retrograde, of course, is your ruler, so it will affect you pretty deeply because you will be reevaluating your desires, your goals, the direction that you're heading in your life. But at the same time, your love life is here highlighted, and this will also make you reevaluate your love life, your connections with other people, your contracts, your partnerships. And here with Venus retrograde in this area of your life, this is a time to reflect on your past and present connections. This could also mean that perhaps some old connections or ex partners may reappear in your life, or perhaps you might have this really strong urge to redefine, reevaluate, reassess what you need in love. Are your relationships balanced? Are you asserting your needs within your relationship, within your connections? Because any connections, relationships, partnerships that are out of alignment will demand your attention during this time. So thank you very much, Libras. And now let's have a look at Scorpios, fellow Scorpios. Welcome. So here we've got this retrograde happening in the sixth house. So the sixth house is the house of daily life, work environment, anything to do with daily reality. So, but also improvement, self-improvement, your health. So you might be reassessing your work, your job situation, work and life balance. But at the same time, this is also a good time for thinking about topics or activities connected to self-care, self-improvement. So this is a good time for reevaluating your habits. Think about whether they are supportive, whether they support your overall well-being, or whether something needs to change. Now, at the same time, this could also be about reconnecting with people from the past, especially those connected to your everyday life, those connected to your workplace, for example. And at the same time, you might be also reassessing, reviewing your work contracts. Perhaps you will be going back to some creative projects, especially those that you didn't have a chance to fulfill, complete in the past. Venus also, of course, rules your 12th house, so it's a great time for healing. But with the seventh house activities, could be also about reconnecting with some important people, connections in your life that perhaps haven't been present in your life for quite some time. This could be also the case. But having said that, this could also mean that any imbalance in your connections will also become more apparent, giving you a chance for implementing more balance, more harmony, and a potential resolution to any negative energies that may reemerge. So thank you very much, Sagittarius, Scorpios. And let's have a look at Sagittarius now. Sagittarius, welcome. We've got the fifth house activation during this time. So here, the area of romance, creativity, anything to do with your passions, your children, if applicable. This is all under review, especially for your parenting style. Here, this retrograde could indicate that you will be reconnecting with someone from the past, someone with whom you were involved in a romantic sense. But at the same time, this is also when perhaps some unresolved issues, matters could resurface, especially those related to the romantic side of your life, anything to do with self-expression, parenting, children. But this is a chance for closure, for resolution. But at the same time, this retrograde is great for thinking carefully whether there is enough fun in your life, whether your interests, your hobbies, your relationships are inspiring, joyful, or perhaps is there someone or something that feels draining, that feels unfulfilling? Because this is a great time to return to some old passions, hobbies, interests, those especially that brought a lot of fun, excitement into your life. Oh, this is also a great chance for moving away from any patterns or habits that affect your self-worth, that affect your self-esteem. So whether these are some connections in your life that you will be reviewing, or perhaps some negative beliefs, habits, for example. So it's also a good time for shifting away from these negative energies. So let's have a look at the next sign. Thank you, Sagittarius. Now, Capricorns, welcome. We've got the Venus retrograde happening in your fourth house. Venus retrograde here is connected to your family, home related matters, anything to do with emotional security and safety. But here during this time, you might be reviewing your living situation, your family relationships, or your relationship with your family overall. But here for some, this could also manifest as some past emotional wounds, memories that could resurface around this time, but giving you a chance for healing, for moving away from these, if possible. Think about whether your relationships at home with your family members are nurturing, or perhaps and supportive, or perhaps are they draining? And if so, then what can you do to find more balance, to find more fulfillment? Now, at the same time, you might feel like you might feel this strong need to renovate your space, to redecorate, to reconnect with some family members, for example, or perhaps to reassess what truly makes you feel at home. Now, Venus also rules Libra, of course, the sign opposing the fourth house or your 10th house. This could be also about reconnecting with people that you used to work with. So it's a great time for networking with those from the past. And you might be reviewing your life path, your life direction, but this is also a great time for returning to hobbies, interests that brought joy and fulfillment into your life in the past. But perhaps you didn't have a chance to enjoy them in the recent past. So this would be a good time for for reconnecting with them in one way or another. So thank you very much, Capricorns. And now let's have a look at the next sign. Aquarius, welcome. We've got Venus retrograde happening in your third house. So here, the area of communication, your mindset. And with this retrograde, you might find yourself dealing with some unresolved discussions, conversations, thoughts from the past. Now, this could be also about revising some contracts, important contracts in your life. But here with Venus retrograde here, this could be also about reconnecting with people from the past. So you might actually like unexpectedly bump into people while out and about. Here with Venus retrograde in this area of your life, this is when you have to be mindful of how you express your thoughts, because here any impulsivity could lead to misunderstanding. So this is a good time also for revisiting, reevaluating, a good time for returning to some old creative projects from the past, perhaps anything to do with writing, blogging, anything that perhaps you started but you didn't have a chance to complete. This would be a good time for returning into these sort of projects. But at the same time, you might find yourself reconnecting with siblings, with your siblings, next of kin, close friends, as I mentioned earlier. It's a good time for traveling to locations of beauty, especially those where you feel at peace. So places that you have visited in the past. And with Venus ruling over your ninth house, you might be reevaluating your life, your belief system, your life philosophy. But here with the fourth house, you might also, being also the ruler, here with Taurus on your fourth house, this would be also a good time for, on the one hand, for reconnecting with family members, but at the same time for renovating, redecorating. This is also a good time for doing so. So here, if you feel like there isn't enough comfort, if there isn't enough comfort in your life at home, then this retrograde will be a good time for finding more comfort, more balanced and harmonious energy here. Thank you very much. And now let's have a look at Pisces. Hello, Pisces, and welcome. We've got Venus retrograde happening in your second house. So here, Venus in the second house, the of finances, self-worth, material security, and stability. This is a time, an amazing time for reevaluating your spending habits. Financial investments here with Libra ruling over your eighth house and Venus being the ruler. An amazing time for overall reevaluating any debts, loans, the financial area of your life. And here also think about how you value yourself, because any themes, any people themes, habits that perhaps lower your self-worth may come up during this time, giving you a chance for working, for moving away from any negative habits, people, situations, for healing as well. And at the same time, a past financial opportunity may resurface during this time. But if this is the case, try to hold off on any big financial decisions, especially those that will have a very long-term impact and influence upon your financial area of your life. Try to wait until Venus moves direct. If you can't, then make sure that you sleep on it and that you're confident that this is the right decision to make, the right step forward to take. Now, here with Venus retrograde, try to also reflect whether your work and your relationships align with your true sense of self-worth, personal values as well. So that's something to think about on a slightly deeper scale. But overall, here with Venus retrograde, this is also about being careful with your spendings and outgoings during this time. Try to keep the receipts of any bigger purchases that you make, because you might actually decide you want to return them once Venus is in a direct motion. So thank you very much, Pisces, and all the best.